All right, sick. Looks like we're going here. What's going on, guys? And welcome back to the Edison Club on episode number 4 of the podcast, taking place on Sunday tonight. For those of you that have watched the content uploaded earlier today, you know that we traveled to Smithfield, North Carolina yesterday for a cash tournament, and we ended up doing pretty good. We had Justin finishing in third place, made top 4, and then we had Ty that ended up finishing in top 8. So we're kind of going to do a recap today, talk about some of our matchup, talk about our deck. We also have Cole, who was not there, but was there in spirit, so he can comment as he pleases. He's got his imaginary pom-poms out for us. And we're going to see if Austin can make it. He's got a little bit of a situation going on. He might be on towards the middle or the end of the podcast. So we'll go in order from winners to losers, so that puts me in last place. So, Justin, if you want to go first, how was your tournament experience yesterday?
It was pretty good. I didn't feel like playing, honestly, I didn't feel like playing Hero all week long. I was testing on Dueling Book all week, and I wasn't getting the best results. And I can blame it on the algorithm, but I think we can all see that it's crap on there. But I just wasn't pleased with the results of the deck, how I was playing the deck, I guess. And I know I sat down with you for the majority of the week, and we was working on different techs and everything, and against what we thought the meta would be at the event, what we thought the matchups would be. I know we played some matches, took out some things, added some things. And to be honest, when I woke up yesterday, I wasn't really feeling the deck at all. It wasn't until I got to the venue and I actually had my first match that I was like, okay, I think we got something here. I think we picked up something pretty good. So I know that we talked earlier in the week that one of my weaknesses I thought would be like Frog Hero. And that turned out to probably be my easiest match of the day. Outside of my round 4, which I'll talk about that when we get there. But so round 1, I played against Frog Hero Monarch. It's like the new variant that's been up in the format recently. I guess you guys have heard about it, right?
Yeah.
They play like Malicious. They play like Evil Hero Malicious Edge, things like that. So I went up against it 2-1. The game that I lost, I just didn't see any monsters. The game I won, I actually hit him with Chain Disappearance, which is a really nice tech. My banished all was Treeborn Frogs. So his recurability for the Frog engine was pretty much dead. So he really didn't have anything to tribute for Monarch. And I think I actually won that game. He tributed a special summon Swap Frog from Malicious Edge. And I hit him with Neos Alias with a Skyscraper in the field because he only had a couple hundred left per game. And then when I say that card was MVP of the day, it was MVP of the day. So round 1, 2-1 to Frogs. Round 2, I played against Zombie Hero. I played him 2-1. He sort of killed himself in game 3. I had attacked with my only monster on board. It was main phase 2. I hit him with Heavy Storm or something, or MST or Spark or something. And he activated Return from the Different Dimension. He paid 2,000 life points, and he special back his monsters just for them to be banished at the end phase, which didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
When I do that just costed you the game. I didn't tell him that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what really won me that game. Zombie really isn't a horrible matchup, though. But round 3, I played against Hydro Pump, who was playing Dragons. Game 1, he bricked pretty hard. I don't think it's on his draw engine. So after a couple turns, we went to game 2. Game 2, Future Fusion, open and turn, card destruction. We'll go to game 3. Game 3 in that round, I had him down to 1,500 life points. I had 8,000, hadn't taken any damage. He hit me with a Lightning Vortex, and he had 2 Blue Eyes, a Rise Darkness Metal on the field, and a Prime Material. And it's just crazy how much damage that board, he pumped out in one turn. So that was GG there. That was a really fun game. Really enjoyed playing against him. He's probably the best Edison player currently. Round 4, I played against Wood, actually. Christy is sworn. He bricked really, really bad. It was nothing he could have done. Looked at his hands. He breaks his charge, solar recharge. He milled a royal decree. His mills in both games are just so bad. 2-0 to them there. In round 5, 2-1 Glads. Going back now, Glads is probably my hardest matchup of the day outside of Dragons. Like, there's only so much you can do against, like, a Lightning Vortex and a Swarming, like a board that's full of Dragons. But Glads is probably, like, the most nail-biting match that I had, just because it's like a battle of traps, like, literally. And I had trouble getting over Hopplemus, believe it or not. Like, Skyscraper does nothing. The only thing I could have got over it with was Honest. That was a really good matchup, though. It's just, like, game 3, I was able to, like, keep up in card advantage. And so, like, he was top decking. And I guess, Cole, you probably know, like, top decking in Glads probably isn't good.
No, you have to do, like, rescue cap pretty much.
Yeah. And I didn't even see that in any of the games. So I'm sure he was on it, though. And then we went to top 8. In top 8, I played against the same zombie hero dude that I played round 2. His funny interaction that Boyd pointed out was,
Bro, but let me preface this by saying that my anxiety was through the roof at this point.
listen. Me and him were passing turns so quick. He had Spirit Reaper on the field. I had like no spark. I had like no blast. And for some reason, I didn't read. And I kept thinking Spirit Reaper could only be destroyed if he was targeted by like a spell or trap. And I had a Miracle Fusion with like an Earth target in my hand the whole time. I could have hit with Gaia, targeted the Reaper, destroyed the Reaper, and like push for game. And I didn't. And so we went back and forth for like 10 turns it had to be. And I ended up just having like 15 cards in hand, like 5 cards on the field. And ended up still winning somehow. But I'm not going to forget that interaction later. And then in top 4, I was going to play against Machina Gadgets, but the 2 guys that were on the team were going to be facing each other, so they decided we were going to split top 4, which I was okay with because we had a pretty long drive back home. So overall, yesterday renewed my love for the deck. I know I was talking to you, Boyd. I don't want to give it away over the podcast because certain reasons, but there are a couple of changes that we're going to be making, and I made those changes on Dueling Book. I've been playing that today, and I really do like those. So that's my tournament experience. Really good. I wish the wing places open up afterwards and could seat us. Other than that, it was a pretty solid night.
Yeah. Okay, so takes care of Justin. Ty, you want to tell us all about your tournament experience?
Yeah, sure. I don't know how many of the viewers are here from my channel, that from back in the day. I played Black Wings during the original Edison, and it was just only right that I picked up Black Wings again during this time around. So going into round 1, I play against zombies, and game 1 I ended up losing just because I ended up taking a risk that I shouldn't have, because my hand was kind of awkward because I had 3 Kalutes. I had a Grepher on board, a Boar in hand, and a Brain Control and Torrential in hand as well. I summoned the Boar, Brain Control his Goblin zombie. Wind Blast his set. It was a set D prison. And then I was calculating everything up. It was going to be 8,700, but he had Gores and Trag, and I was just like, And then game 2, Deck Devi, and Deck Devi his field for 3, hitting Tomato, Sangin, and Pyramid Turtle, and just ended up wiping him out from there. And then game 3. Double Icarus and his board just got me there. Round 2, I played against a zombie. It's like a zombie hero dude as well. I think it was the same zombie hero dude you played against, Boyd.
Oh yeah, he was really cool.
Oh yeah, for sure.
His name was Preston. It's hard to forget that name.
I think it was Preston. But game 1 didn't take that long. I ended game 1 pretty quickly. Game 2, he just I didn't really have much. My cards really reliant on him having cards, and he ended up storming me. I was like, well, man, there's nothing I can do about that. And he just ended up OTKing in game 2. Game 3, I really shouldn't. I shouldn't have won, but oppression won it for me. My hand was Blizzard, Kalut, Vayu, oppression, and I drew a third Kalut. And then I just summoned the Vayu, said the oppression pass. And I was like, well, if he gets through this suppression, I'll just Kalut, make Vayu 2200. But he summons Diva and activates effect. I just chain oppression, and he had no response to that. And then I just kept. And I summoned. Next turn, I summoned the Blizzard and just kept doing the Blizzard Vayu poke until he. And then it got to a point he set one back row, and I summoned Dark Refer, and he Solemn Judgmented. And then I just swung with Blizzard and dropped Kalut on it for game because he was at 24. He was at 4,900, and the Judgment dropped him down to 40. Dropped him down to 2450, and then the Blizzard Kalut combo was his game.
Yeah.
Round 3, I played against. What did I play against? I played against Hero Beat, and it game 1. The guy he just out advantages me to no end. Game 2, I had dust shooted him earlier in the game, earlier at the start of his turn, and I took his Stratos, and all it left him with was Alias and 4 traps, and it was like deep. It was D Prison. It was double D Prison. Hero Blast. No, not Hero Blast. Double D Prison. What else was it? I cannot remember the other 2 back row. But I summoned Shura, and I swung into his Alias, and I don't know why he didn't activate either of the 2D Prison. But I swung in, dropped Kalut, the Alias died, and then I summoned out Gale. Then next I just synchroed into Black Rose and just nuked his field, set a Torrential and passed, and then he ends up scooping after that because he's in top deck mode. Now I feel like Hero Beat is probably in the same boat with Glads in that scenario. Like you really don't want to be top decking. Like I feel like your best top deck is Miracle Fusion.
Yeah, I would say I guess at least in Hero Beat you do have like a top deck that could get you back into a game.
Yeah,
but it's still not ideal.
I feel like Miracle Fusion would fall into this. I feel like Miracle Fusion would fall into like that same category as like Glad's like top deck and Cap.
Yeah. Still not a predicament you want yourself to be in.
Right. Mm-hmm. Game 3, I ended up Black Rosing him again and nuking his entire board, and then after that I summoned a Blizzard, and he was just in top deck mode. And I was like summoned Blizzard, brought back a Bora, synchroned in the Brynac, just kept pitching cards to put his monster back, and just kept swinging into him for 23 until he was dead. Round 4, I played against Hydro Pump and just got completely annihilated. I could not get anything to stick. My hands were very awkward. I could not get anything going, man. He 2-0'd me with quickness. That was my first loss of the day. Then round 5, I play a Blackwing Mirror, and this was my easiest match all day just because I know the deck inside and out. The guy there was a lot of plays the guy I was playing against made a lot of questionable plays. But and then one thing that was to my advantage. He didn't know about. He didn't know Sirocco pumped for the entire board.
Yeah, that's
And,
insane.
yeah, and that won me game one and won me game two, and then we go into Top Cut, and I play against Machina Gadget, and I get like this is still like haunting me. Like like at this very moment is haunting me. Like this guy, like he was really good. He played the deck really well. It like I don't know if it's just from where I'm just used to just scraping this deck like when I'm playtesting. But this dude, man, he was playing Fishers and Smashing Grounds at 3. And just I could not get a single monster to stick at all. Like it would stick for my turn, and at the as soon as he started his turn, it'd be gone.
Yeah,
It'd just be absolutely gone. And like I lost that one 2-0, and that was the end. That was the end of me for the tournament. But all in all, like as far as my deck goes, like my main deck, I feel like it was pretty. I feel like it performed pretty well. My most underwhelming card, probably out of my main deck, was probably Book of Moon. I just really never used it. I was never really in the opportunity to where I could use it, or I just never saw it.
Yeah,
which is weird because I played 3 of it. But
What card was that, Ty?
Book of Moon.
Okay.
Wind Blast was MVP. Like Wind Blast, Mike, shout out to you, man. Like that card was MVP all day.
Yeah, so like if you didn't watch the vlog from earlier, basically what I ended up telling Ty was like every time you search off Black Whirlwind, I feel like your probability of winning just goes up higher and higher. But when like you're summoning Blizzard into Whirlwind and just searching Vayus that don't do anything, it's still a plus, but it's not like a real plus. It's like what you would call like fake like card advantage. But when you combine that with like Phoenix Wing Wind Blast, being able to just search free fodder for Wind Blast towards like a real card you can actually use is just so good. So I'm really happy that ended up working out well for you.
Right. It was just the right card that I needed because it was one of those cards because I was looking through cards trying to figure out what was like because I needed out to Consecrated Light because Consecrated Light is pretty much everybody's side deck at this point in time, and like Torrential helps. Icarus can help at times. But I feel like Icarus now is only good against bad people.
Right. Most of the time, like they're just going to summon
a good player or at least a halfway decent player is going to know how to play. Is going to know how to play against around Icarus attack.
Yeah, or they're going to play in a way that's going to force you to have to Icarus your own card.
Exactly. But as far as that's really like the main deck, I'm really I'm happy with. There's a couple changes, a couple things I'm gonna test out, just to see if I like another style better. I'm gonna try the pure build to see if I like that better or not. But other than side the extra deck was fine. The side deck, the MVP card out of the side was probably Deck Dev. Deck Dev and Oppression. The most underwhelming card I didn't even have a chance to even use this card was Chalice. In theory, like when me and you were talking about it, earlier last week. Chalice is great for like Raikou and Snowman and Hamster and stuff like that. But there was the decks I played against. I just really didn't need. I didn't really need it. I guess I wouldn't say it's the most I wouldn't say underwhelming. I guess the better phrase would be like just didn't just non-used card out of my side. Most non-used card out of my side.
I think that when it comes to like the cards like Deck Devi, like so with Edison, it's hard to tell what the meta really is. Like they say Black Wings is like the most popular deck, and then we go to an event like this, and you see like 3 people playing it.
Yeah.
So when you start a card like Deck Devi, it's hard to make a side deck for events like this now because there's so many playable decks. And you only have 15 slots to choose from. That the decks that Deck Devi is good against, like in my opinion, like fairies, like recruiter fairies, people just don't play those. So like that does happen quite often where like you think his cards will be a blowout and then you never really get to play it because those decks just don't show up.
That's true.
So like I noticed, I saw you playing it against the Dragons, and I guess the idea behind it was to hit their normal summons so they wouldn't have anything to banish for Darkness Metal.
Right. That was my thinking going into it, because like looking at my side, like really the only things I had to really side against them is like skill. Like I sided in 2 skill drain, my second oppression, and the Deck Devi. That's really all I had that was going to be like high impact as far as anything else.
Like something crazy about Dragons I noticed too is like that they have so many draw engines in their deck that they're just going to draw until they find the out that they need. So like the best plan against Dragons is what traps. I mean, Wood's not here to really answer, but like you want a Bottomless their Darkness Metal, you want a Solemn their Darkness Metal or whatever. But when they draw into their Heavy Storm, or they draw into Mystical Space Typhoon or Lightning Vortex, like they're going to see they're going to go through 75% of their deck by turn 2.
Yeah.
So it's hard to side against that deck. I mean, I can't fault you for that matchup. I mean, I lost myself. But I think that's something that going forward, it's definitely something to take into consideration. Like how are we going to out decks like this? Because that deck was so quick.
Yeah, it really was. Like once it got going, it just felt like there was once it got going, it felt like it just couldn't be stopped.
The deck feels like Dragon Link of Edison.
It really does.
Because it's so fast.
Like, Edison, their board doesn't end on a Nibiru token, so like that's even worse.
Yeah, that's true. Very true. Okay, Ty, you have anything else to say about your day yesterday?
I mean, all in all, I feel like I really needed yesterday because, like, from where I haven't got to play much, like, paper Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, at all, like, yesterday I feel like was really needed for me, like, on a mental level, just to help me revitalize, like, my love for just Yu-Gi-Oh! In general. Like, as far as Modern goes, I don't want nothing to do with Modern, but, like Edison wise, my passion to start playing more tournaments and stuff like that. Like that's been revitalized, and I feel like for me mentally, yesterday was very much needed, and it was my birthday weekend too. So getting top 8 felt pretty good too.
Yeah, that's always a good feeling. Okay, so on a heavier note, my tournament experience yesterday was. It was definitely something. So I chose to play the Christia Sworn deck, and round 1 I had to play Austin in the Christia Sworn mirror, which is just, it is so bad because like the Light Sworn mirror, the pure Light Sworn mirror is already awful. Like if your opponent goes first and draws charge or recharge, you are just not winning. Like unless they just miss on the mills and hit all spells, you are not winning. So that matchup is really dependent on who sees spells. And in this matchup, you almost like have to hold your orange light so that you can orange light their orange light. So
right.
That was a really scary match. We ended up going to game 3. Game 2, I got him down to no cards. The only card in his whole deck he could draw to win was his one of Judgment Dragon that he had left, because he milled one earlier. And like a true Light Sworn duelist, he did draw Judgment Dragon, nuke the board, and kill me. I ended up winning against him in game 3. So that's always nice when it starts out, you win. But I ended up playing against Bernard. Shouts to him in round 2, the gadget guy, and I just didn't have a chance from the moment the game started. He is such a cool dude. That guy really he knows his gadget deck. I'll tell you, because he beat me game 1. Game 2, I sided in Thunder Kings. I thought that Thunder King was a good call, which I think it is a good call, because it puts them on having to have it out. He did have Book of Moon, on top of having multiple traps and multiple DD Crows. So sometimes that's just the way the cookie crumbles. And could you let's see. Ty, could you mute your mic? I'm getting a lot of background noise from you. It's either you or Justin or Cole, I guess.
Yeah, hang on 1 second.
Yeah, you're good. Sorry, guys. I just now really started to hear it. I guess he has a TV on or something in the background. All right.
Sorry about that. How's that?
No, yeah, you're good. I thought you were watching Cops or something.
Oh no.
But in round 3, I'm pretty sure it's when I played against Zombies, which I'm pretty sure is the guy in the chat, Chug, because he said he enjoyed his matches with Justin. Long live the Spirit Reaper. Pretty sure that was him. I managed to win game 1 pretty quickly, resolving Christia early. And then I got hit with, I'm pretty sure it was game 3. I got hit with a very... All right, sweet. So it is Chug. So thanks for tuning in with us, Chug. He hit me with a Pyramid Turtle attack Lila, take damage, trigger Tragodia. And that was just such a weird predicament for me, because I was like, do I orange light this Trag? Do I orange light this Pyramid Turtle? So I ended up orange lighting the Turtle, and the Trag still killed Lila, so I think that was definitely wrong. I don't know if I should have orange lighted either one of those or not, but that's a hard matchup for me, just because no one at our locals plays Diva Hero, or any of the Diva variants like that. It's a lot of Welly Dad, but I think the Diva deck is just way more explosive. So that's a match I really need to practice, because I feel like that's a match I misplay in a lot. But it was a good game. He was a really cool guy. I really enjoyed that game, and the rest of the day kind of just went very similar. But I ended up playing against the hero guy that you played against, and I don't think that guy literally played any trap cards. If he did, he never drew them. He never set back row in game 1. So it was weird. I wanted to put in back row removal, but didn't want to put in back row removal. We ended up going to game 3, and Lightsworn's weird because you lose your win condition when you drop below 1,000. So he got me down to 900. And it was so weird because he tried to summon Gores by accident while he had a set card. So the whole rest of that game, I knew I had to play around Gores. It was just unfortunate that, he revealed that. But I got into a situation where I'm at 800. I have Judgment Dragon. He has a blank board. So I can't attack, because then he just crashes with the Gores token and kills me. Because normally that's not a problem. You hit for 3, then nuke main phase 2, and it's fine. But I was like, well, I'm going to pass. I don't know if he can get over Judgment Dragon. And I was going to try to, to hold out to try to draw orange light to answer the Gores. And on his turn, he ended up, I'm pretty sure he stacked for Plague Spreader, Miracle Fusion into Absolute Zero, and then Tribute Summon Gores, and then blew up JD and killed me. So that's kind of how my day went. But I really like the Christia Sworn deck. I think that a lot of stuff, my losses were just my own fault. I don't look back on anything and say, wow, I just, I couldn't play that game. I never, drew anything. There was a game where I drew double Christia, double JD, and actually ended up winning that game. So that was the worst hand I had all day. But I think that I definitely did not side correctly. I think that I got the siding patterns wrong. And I think that correcting that is going to help, because I do plan on playing the deck for the long term. Because I really like Lightsworn, and there's no way that I think I could go back to regular Lightsworn because of how good this deck is. It's this deck has Christia, Soul Purity and Light, and Orange Light, and Pure Lightsworn's I drew 1 card off Garoth. Sweet. Like, so I think I'm gonna stick to this for a while. I really did enjoy the deck, so we're gonna keep testing, get ready for the PS5 event next month, and hopefully get some games in against Diva Hero. Chug, if you ever want to play online on Dueling Book, get some games in on against Diva Hero. I could definitely use it. So, so I think Wood's tournament experience was very similar to mine. I think that Wood missed on his mills a lot, which is weird because the deck only plays 9 spells. The deck is 31 monsters, so he milled a lot of spells, and that like the probability of that happening is so small. So I think that was just a bad day for him. He accidentally left his extra deck at home before we even got there. So we had to rush around trying to find him an Armory Arm. He was missing some things. He didn't have Flammable or Quasis. He ended up having to play Gaia Knight. But I mean, I think he did good for what he had. It was just, that's a stressful way to start off your day, not having your extra deck, having to play a friend round 1. But I mean, it was a blast. Like, for me, I don't always have to like do, outstandingly well. It's like I got to meet Chug here, which I'm pretty sure his name's Cody. Got to meet him, got to meet Hydro Pump, Frog Slicer, all these really cool guys. I mean, it was so cool to see like the Edison community is like so much more welcoming than the modern community is. And the pro players for Edison are like so much more open to helping the community get better and building the community. So it was really nice to see those guys come out and just hang out with them and play some games. And yeah, I mean, the store was really nice. It's probably the best ran tournament I've ever been to for Yu-Gi-Oh! They started when they said they would, and every round was one right after the other. So, I mean, I kind of thought before we went, we wouldn't even be leaving until 9 o'clock. And when we got done at like 5:36, I was like ecstatic. So, shout outs to Big Boy Gaming. They really know what they're doing there.
I agree. I was very impressed with how well they ran their entire tournament schedule. They were very tight knit about the whole thing, and just they didn't BS around.
Yeah, they got stuff done. So yeah, that was our tournament experience yesterday. Like I said, Cole was there in spirit. Cole, you have anything to add? I mean, obviously you weren't there, but how do you feel about obviously Justin's deck profile was uploaded earlier. What do you think about some of the choices that we made for his deck?
I thought it was really interesting. I need to test Hero Beat more, but I know I had like Starlight Rose and Solemn Judgments in my deck. I don't think you didn't play either one of those, did you?
No, and to be honest with you, I didn't know. I forgot that I didn't play Solemn until it pointed out to me. But Starlight Road, to me, Starlight Road does nothing against like an unknown matchup outside of Heavy Storm, right? Like if they're playing Lightsworn, sure, or are they playing Glad, sure, but in an unknown matchup, if I'm playing against Frogs and they're summoning Kaias and hitting one card at a time, or something like that, like to me, I would rather have a card that does more, like Yada, thins out the deck, gets to your power cards quicker, just keeps you ahead in card advantage, and bring in Starlight Road for the side. Okay, like I played Glads round 1. I know they're going to try to Gazars me, so I definitely need Starlight Road here. Or I played against a Lightstorm player, and what if they JD me, or what if they hit me with Celestia and hit me with 2 or something like that. So even having, I don't think I'd even play 1 in the main, because to me, like in the late game when I've already exhausted through a lot of my trap cards, I just don't think the card's a good game 1. Solemn, yeah, I probably should have played Solemn. Looking into it, I would probably take out a Yada for a Solemn, but that was my reasoning for that. And same thing for Torrential. I took out Torrential too. I put Heavy Storm in the main. I just want to play more traps that could chain to like Mystical Space Typhoon, Heavy Storm, things like that.
Yeah.
We kind of talked about it when we were building the deck, like. Not always, but a lot of the time, players respect those cards against trap decks anyway. So, like, a lot of times, like, you'll see, like, Glad Beast players Like in a trap matchup where they're unsure of the sets, they should always Gazaras for 1. Same thing with Celestia, should always like pop 1. Double X Saber Hunlei should always pop 1 to avoid, getting hit with Road. So that was something else we kind of went off of. And then also we chose not to main deck Heavy Storm or like the Snowman Eaters. We kind of just went for, all real cards, tried to make the deck consistent. And I think it ended up working out for Justin. Obviously, he put his own spin on things, as he should. It was his deck. He chose to put in like the Beast Kings and chose to pick King Tiger Wanghu, Joe Exotic, over Fossil which ended up being really good for him. I was really happy that he ended up playing that card, actually.
Yeah, I only played the one Beast King, and it was more so just as another Earth target because I didn't want to main King Tiger, as Barbaros does work with skill drain. So I did play the 1. I definitely like it better than playing 2. And of course, we talked about some future changes that we're going to be making to that. So
yeah,
I don't want to spoil that right now, but I'm very pleased with the deck. I don't really think I would change anything per se, except what we talked about. But I think there are some matches or games that I could have played better for sure. I know that at one point I had Royal Oppression face up and try to, Starlight Road a Heavy Storm, hoping that they would forget that I had Oppression face up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of course, Hydro Pump's not going to forget something like that, but just some things like what if I would have played held off on the Oppression? Because what I did was I Oppressioned a Instant Fusion, and what I should have done was let that resolve, let him Synchro Summon with whatever he was going to Synchro Summon with, and then maybe hit Oppression on that to sort of save it to where what if I could have activated Starlight Road before having Oppression, So just I could have played better instead of jumping the gun on things like that. So I would go back and change that.
Yeah. Obviously, even the best of players are still going to make small mistakes like that. Like there's probably never going to be a level you get to where you just simply don't mess up. And that happened a couple times yesterday. I'm not going to say who, but I did watch some of the better players actually miss lethal or play into something yesterday. And that kind of is a good feeling, you don't ever need to just beat yourself up and say that, I want to be like one of these guys that doesn't mess up, because it's just human nature to mess up or make a mistake every now and again. And it happens to everyone.
Yeah, I think that's a big takeaway for people too, not to get too down, because I know it's like a game of skill, but it is also partly luck based too. So
yeah, I've had tournament experiences where I go home and really beat myself up, but no matter how good you are in testing, you can just always make a dumb rookie mistake, and it happens. We see it on Konami streams. We see the pro players use tier element effects twice in the same turn. It happens to the best of us. So
I think one thing I know this is something I struggle with a lot. I get tunnel vision really bad when it comes to when I'm setting plays up, and I'll miss lethal simply because I forgot to switch a monster to defense or something like that, and I'll be focused on other cards that I'm putting on the board on another side, and I'll forget about Assure. I forgot to switch to attack mode.
Yeah. That happened to me yesterday. Thankfully, I didn't get punished, but basically my last round I played which was pretty much just for fun anyway at this point, was against Blackwing, and I was at 1600, and he had one set card, no cards in hand. Well, I thought, well, this set card has to be Vayu, more than likely. And he had Sirocco in his graveyard, so I went for a Goyo Guardian line. I attacked, took the Vayu. I'm like, okay, sweet. Now he can't use that to summon Armed Wing. What I didn't even think about until I passed was the fact that this Vayu is sitting here with 0 defense, in defense position, with me at 1600. So, I should have just either made Brio and just bounced it, or I probably should have made the Flamvol or Quasis and just punched for 21 Pierce, because, what's he going to do? Ram Armwing and crash into my Urquizus while I still have JD on the following turn? So that was something I got tunnel vision on as well. I was so focused on, this 2300 vanilla Armed Wing, which cannot answer Goyo Guardian and cannot answer Judgment Dragon. You know, I was just so convinced that was the right play, and it ended up working out, but it definitely wasn't the right play, because if he had drawn Bora, then it definitely would have ended differently.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Cody mentioned something good in the live chat here. He said, IRL Yu-Gi-Oh! Puts more pressure to go for game, reads your body language differently versus online, which is just cards on a screen. And that's so true. Like, you can get a lot of information just on how your opponent's acting. I know sometimes it's easy for me to telegraph what I have, and that's something I'm working on too, because when I play online, every time my opponent activates an effect or they attack, I always hit the think button, like, no matter what I have. Like, so they have to respect, do you have Orange Light, do you have Honest, whatever. And in real life, I try to, sometimes I'll almost speed play through that and be like, no, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. When, I guess it's like the modern game has given me PTSD because of time rules. So I'm used to having to play, you know, go Power Ranger fast as you can go. And it's just not the case for this. So that's something I'm working on as well, too. So, yeah, thanks for that piece of advice there, Cody, or Chug26.
Yeah, that's something like I've had to like work on as well. Like as far as like, because like the time rules are different for Edison. Like that's something I've had to like train my brain to remember. Cause like anytime I'm sitting down, I'm just like, if my opponent's taking a good while, I'm just like, oh God, like I'm still like traumatized from advanced format. From I don't know how many times I've lost in time just because my opponent's taken like a million turns to put 5 monsters on the board.
Yeah,
but
that's something that really keeps me like wanting to only commit to Edison format. It's just because like you're never going to get screwed on time,
right?
Like, and I understand, like, you know, we don't have to rant about it. I understand why the time rules for modern format are how they are, because people taking an hour to play out, you know, 5 turns. But we haven't had that problem in Edison. I think because the game is still just so slow, that isn't really an issue. Like, I think yesterday, we went into time like 12 minutes past the end of the round, so that's really not too bad.
No, that's not bad.
Okay, so we're at the 42-minute mark. We have about 18 minutes left tonight. What do you guys want to talk about the last 18 minutes? Anything in particular?
I have something.
Okay.
So like, I know for like a little while, it like I remember Frazier talking about this on his podcast, like during like a little bit last year, like it like where Blackwing was like, you know, kind of just like being like the more dominant deck, and then it started to get stale. Then like the format started to shift. Like what with these different shifts in the game, like what are y'all's like, what decks do y'all think are just gonna be like just like the next decks to just do really well in like the foreseeable future?
Look, I'll be honest with you. I think Wood and Boyd just had a bad day yesterday. Like Boyd, I don't think your deck is a fault for anything. I don't think you're a fault for anything. I think that like the combination of bad meals and, you know, various things like that. I still think that Christius Sworn is probably, outside of Blackwing, like if not just as good, if not better. That deck has such a high ceiling of power. You have 2 ball sponsors that are incredibly hard to get over. It's a little bit RNG, but I do think that like if you took that deck now back to 2010, like you would have won the Shonen Jump Championship, like no joke. Like that deck is just so over, and that's probably, you know, true with a lot of decks that like are in modern Edison. It's crazy how much the formats are different. But I think that deck, and I think that the new Frog Hero Monarch deck are 2 very new powerful decks in the format.
Yeah, I agree too. That brings a good topic to surface here. Something I talked to Justin about a while back was like I would love for them to replay top 8 of SJC Edison with modern Edison and just see who ends up winning. Granted, I don't even know if all of those guys still play Yu-Gi-Oh, but when you go back to like edisonformat.com and look at the top 8 decks as compared to like the top 8 decks topping in Edison now, it's crazy like how underdeveloped the format was at that time.
Right. I have one little hot take about if like, because I know me and you talked about that as well. My little hot take with that, I do not feel like if Edison was if SJC Edison top 8 or top 16 was replayed, and like it like by like going by to like today's standards of Edison, I honestly do not believe Quick Draw wins.
Yeah, I think that. So I really like the Volcanic Quick Draw deck, which was about to be. I was about to mention that deck because Justin was talking about the Christia Lightsworn deck. Volcanic Quick Draw has so many answers for the Christia Lightsworn deck in the form of Blaze Accelerator. Searching Blaze Accelerator to pop Christia and just always having outs to Christia is so strong. But I agree with what Ty said. I don't think that Quick Draw would win if that was replayed.
Yeah, I think I kind of agree too. And to add on to Blaze Accelerator, kind of just outset cards too, like Raikou and Hamster and Floaters, like Pyramid Turtle and Tomato.
Yeah.
It's just a main deck searchable option that gets rid of a lot of problem cards that a lot of decks don't have.
Yeah. I think if the resources that we have now existed back then, that top cut would have been significantly different. So, like, you'd be crazy to say that there wasn't talent in the top cut. I mean, because you had people like Jeff Jones, you had people like Billy Brake and Jerry Wang, and what's that guy's name? Jarrell Pro Winston. So they were good. There was good talent there existing within the top cut, but I think it would be a lot different today just because the resources we have, and I think that the mentality we have toward the game is much different now.
Oh yeah, I think we have like a different mindset. If you like looked at back then, people like saw a group of cards. It's kind of like we used the word staple a lot back then. I feel like,
yeah,
and people don't use it as much now just because of like the theory of how different decks work in different ways, and just how you all were talking about the Hero Beat deck earlier, like alluding to different choices, like not playing Starlight Road or Heavy Storm and stuff like that.
Yeah,
how much the game has evolved.
Right.
Yeah, there was
It's
actually. Oh, sorry, Ty. Go ahead.
Oh, my bad. I was gonna point out one thing, like, just like to add on to what Cole was just saying. It like talking about like where like a lot of cards back in the day got like looped into like what we called staples, like Mirror Force being one of them. And Mirror Force here lately has been on the decline. I feel like in a lot of people's decks. I didn't play Mirror Force at all. And like I in the tournament yesterday, and I can honestly say I didn't miss it.
Yeah, Justin, did we play? We cut Mirror Force too, right?
Yeah, we cut Mirror Force.
Yeah,
I don't play it in my glad list either.
Yeah,
I feel like when I got Mirror Force, I never want to Mirror Force one monster. You know what I mean?
You just
like,
use D-Prison and just get rid of the problem entirely.
Yeah, so I never like Mirror Force. I'm never able to use it to its max capability. Like, yeah, I want to get rid of like 2 or 3 monsters. I don't want to get rid of just one monster. Like you said, I think D-Prison is like probably the best like battle trap in the game.
Yeah.
Hands down, and it works just so much better. Plus, like I don't want to lose to the people who are main decking Starlight Road in their decks, you know. And it goes back to like it goes back to that podcast Frazier had, like, by not playing it, I'm still playing it, right?
Yeah.
So I never thought about it yesterday, but those guys never saw Mirror Force or anything like that in my grave, so they still think I'm playing Mirror Force. There was one game where a guy said his monsters in defense mode except one, and it like probably saved me the game because it took less damage because he was playing around Mirror Force.
Yeah.
So it's little things like that by not playing it, you are playing it. So, and like I said, I'd rather just play something more reactive. My Mirror Force isn't doing me any good if it gets MST'd, if it gets hit with a heavy storm or anything like that. Hit with a Kaya. So yeah, I took it out.
Yeah, one interesting thing I'd like to add to that is like when you see decline and stuff like that, like Mirror Force, you also see like an uprising cards that are good against Deep Prison, like Thought Ruler Archfiend. And then there'll be
Exactly.
another shift for cards that are good against Thought Rulers because it could be Mirror Force. And so you'll see kind of like a twisting and turning of the meta, you know, that's how things shape and shift.
Yeah, we're kind of like running around in like a never-ending circle, which is cool.
Yeah.
Like I like how this format changes like that instead of like the modern game. The way it changes is like this week I'm playing the best deck. Next week the best deck is still playing like the same core, but the staples are like just entirely different. So I think it's too much to keep up with for me personally.
So like,
Right.
Yeah.
Cole, I know you play GOAT format sometimes, right?
Hmm.
Like, I know this isn't a GOAT podcast, but you know, it's like that format, it's okay to hit Mirror Force on one card because
Yeah.
more often than not, they're playing cards like Don Zalug. They're playing like cards like oh goodness, Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer, to where like if you let that attack go through, you're losing more than just a Mirror Force, you know?
Yeah, you're
So,
losing like your BLS or
yeah.
Chaos Sorcerer.
You don't have those cards outside of like Spirit Reaper and Edison that you just couldn't take care of with like Deep Prison outside of Thought Ruler. And more often than not, they're going to be reading that you have Mirror Force, so they're going to go into a Stardust Dragon. So
Hmm.
you'll see a lot of those plays more often than Edison. But that's not to say it's a bad card. I just don't think it's like it's right in the deck that I'm playing.
Yeah, I think we're too advanced in like our knowledge of the game and like all of our resources to like have it be as good of a card as Deep Prison for the most part. Not in all situations, but
Yeah.
There was a cool interaction yesterday where like I really needed to have my Alias Engrave for a spark so I could get over a Hopplemus. And so I purposely, like, he had another Glad on field, I forget what it was. And I purposely like kept 2 in attack mode and switched the rest to defense so I could like just get my Neos Engrave through Mirror Force and able to pop the Hopplemus and yeah, so that there's instances where like it's good when the other person's playing it, but I wouldn't play it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think it's the worst card you could play. I think that we're kind of just at a point where there's some better options. But it's definitely a card. It's like Heavy Storm, Torrential Tribute. You know, you're always watching out for it.
Right.
I do like Phoenix Twin Windblast, though. I noticed that outside of Ty, like the Frog decks are heavy on it too.
Yeah.
Because they can pitch like their Treeborns and things like that. And there was a couple games where I got hit in the Frog match with the Phoenix Twin Windblast, and they put like an EOS back on top.
Yeah.
And I just hated it so much because I knew that I was drawing like a vanilla next turn, you know?
Yeah. I guess too, if you think about it, like your in some cases your Legacy of Yanagarasu can kind of help mitigate that trade.
Yeah, and it did in a couple games.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'd rather use that Legacy to draw into a new card, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad the card's seen a lot of play because like it gets around like my body as a shield. Not that card's played a whole lot. I did see somebody playing. I think Hydra Pump played it. But it gets around cards like that, and it does set your opponent back a turn. If you're playing value like Ty is, it adds more fuel to your graveyard and actually helps you plus more. So it's a good card.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, guys. Well, we have about 6 and some odd minutes, 6 and a few seconds left. So 6 minutes and a few seconds left. I'm sorry. It's been a long day. So, if you don't already know, at the end of next month, we are having a Collector's Rare Stardust Dragon tournament on February 18th. This is going to be held at Easy Card Gaming in Greensboro. It's a $10 entry fee. I do believe you get 2 OTS packs for entering. First place takes home a Collector's Rare Stardust Dragon that starts at 1 o'clock that Saturday, February the 18th. So if you're in the area, you don't mind driving, definitely swing by, check it out. We need at least 10 people to fire it. I don't think there should be an issue firing it, but
No, it shouldn't be an issue at all.
the weekend after that, Justin, Cole, and myself, along with hopefully one other person, we're going to be going to Reading, Pennsylvania for a PS5 tournament. I do believe it's Unmatched Games or Unmatched Gaming. Definitely check that out as well. We'll be there. It's going to be a lot of fun. We hope to get to talk to some people like Fraser Smith. Been wanting to meet him and kind of interact with him a little bit. We're both really big into his podcast, so that's what we have coming up next month, and then we will kind of branch out from there, see what we can come up with for future Edison tournaments in the tri-state area.
I do want to give a shout out to Blaine yesterday. He went with us. He got 9th place overall. He did really good too.
Oh yeah, for
playing
sure.
Black Wings and somebody relatively new, not only to the format but the game in general. I think he's only been playing for a couple years off and on, and picked up Edison format. Which, gosh, he probably was like 5 years old when Edison was a thing. So like,
I honestly, I think so. Mike, I don't know if you remember. I remember back when we were at the flea market, and like Blaine and his sister would come in. They were like really young.
Yeah, I remember very little young Blaine going to the flea market. So you probably are about right. I mean, he may have been a little older than that, but not much.
But but he did really good. I know that he went 3-2. But his win record, his tiebreakers were really, really good.
Yeah, and once again, one of his losses was to Hydro Pump. So
yeah, he lost to Hydro Pump, and then he lost to, I don't remember his other loss. I do know that he beat 2 Black Wings, and then I think he may have beat a hero player, a zombie player. If I'm not mistaken, I think he did. But I don't know what his other loss was to. But overall, he did really good. And he acknowledged like some of the mistakes he made in a couple of his games, which is, pretty cool, because we all got to be accountable for like realizing that we misplayed, here and there. And just don't get down on yourself. Just, pick back up, take what you learn and carry forward with it. But he really impressed me yesterday.
Yeah, me too. Sorry, Ty, what were you saying? Go ahead.
I was just going to say I was thoroughly impressed with Blaine and how he performed. I know round 1, I could tell he was nervous, but after he got that one done, I could see he was feeling like a lot more confident about himself, and I loved seeing that.
Yeah, me too. He's definitely on his way up. I was really proud of him too. He did really good yesterday.
Oh yeah, big shout out to that pizza place too. That pizza place is pretty bomb.
Oh yeah.
Shout outs to
Elizabeth Pizza.
Yeah, shout outs to Elizabeth Pizza in Greensboro. If you're looking for a sponsor, the Edison Club wants you. Okay, so 57 minutes. We got 2.5 minutes left. Yeah, I guess closing statements would be thank you guys for joining us tonight. Everyone that has watched, everyone's interacted in the live chat. Cody primarily was in there tonight. Glad that you were able to hang out with us for this hour, Cody. It's really nice meeting you yesterday, hanging out with you. And he also says be on the lookout for KFC. Been seeing more of that online been seeing more online players playing it thanks to CarPath. I've actually been talking to Cole a little bit about KFC. I think he's a little interested in playing that deck.
What is KFC?
It's a chicken restaurant. Cole, do you want to take the last 2 minutes and explain what KFC is?
So, Kuraz field spell control. Kuraz pops Gear Town and Yada, U+. Yep. And Ancient Gear Gadgetron Dragon is big in it. Plays Titanial, and Call the Haunted becomes Pot of Greed if you bring back Kuraz. Call the Haunted is the best deck for Call the Haunted, actually. And I think it's a really cool toolboxy deck that's not seen a whole lot too.
Yeah, that deck can just outright out pressure you turn 1. So that deck can put up Gadgetron Dragon Titanial Dandy tokens on turn 1, and they're just go ahead. And you just look at your hand and you realize it can't beat that, and you just hopefully you have something in your side deck for game 2.
And then it could pop Ancient or Gear Town with Ancient Fairy Dragon, gain 1,000, and you get to summon Gadgetron too.
Yeah, and you search another Gear Town, right?
If you get the search, you don't get Gear Town that you destroyed's effect because it'll miss timing, but you can just pop and gain 1,000 and get Gear Town. Whatever you want, depending. You might want to search Mausoleum or Black Garden.
Yeah, I see. Still, I mean, that's just a free 1,000 life and a free summon.
Yep.
Very
And then
cool.
it pays for your mausoleum if you use it to summon something like Titania or Gadgetron.
That's true. That's true. That's nasty. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really
definitely.
interesting interactions in the deck. It's really cool.
Sweet. We'll be on the lookout for that. And all right, guys, 10 seconds left. Once again, thank you all for watching. And this is Mike, Justin, Cole, Austin, and Spirit, and our special guest TYP336 signing out until next week. Take care, everyone.